The late Mr. R.D. Jensen is the founding principal of Swiss Cottage Secondary School from 1963 to 1968. Mr. Tok Peng Hock was the interim principal from 1962 to 1963. Back then, Swiss Cottage was located in Bras Basah. Thereafter, the late Mr. Jensen took over as the headmaster. 6 November 1963 marks the day which saw the official opening of Swiss Cottage and relocated to Dunyan Road. Back then, Swiss Cottage was one of the finest schools, equipped with laboratories, home economics rooms, and staff rooms. One of the many legacies under Mr. Jensen was the school's crest. The essence behind the crest was national integration. The 5 stars that arched over the crest represent equality, peace, progress, justice, and democracy. The torch of learning on the left signifies the beacon of knowledge and the passion for learning. The 5 rings symbolize sports as a vehicle that bonds different races and religions together. The 5 horizontal bands on the right denotes the 5 houses as competitors, but steadfast in fraternity. The school vision, for the sake of learning and for the state, in Latin, was included as well. Under Mr. Jensen's helm, Swiss Cottage embarked on a journey in building her foundation in academics. Mr. Jensen also worked hard to ensure that students found balance in their academic pursuits and other meaningful activities beyond the classrooms. In 1965, Swiss became a renowned sports school in the Bukit Timah district and was known as Swiss Cottage Integrated Secondary School with both English and Malay streams. The school anthem, titled Twin Streams, was originally written in Malay language by Mr. Charles Lazaru, with the hope for Swiss students to blaze a path of glory and scale new heights. Despite having 2 streams, all Swiss students are always together as one. Mr. Jensen left Swiss in 1968 for a new appointment as the Registrar of the Regional English Language Centre. However, his legacy continued. The school crest remained unchanged since then, while the anthem was sang till 1992 before it was revised by our second principal, Mr. Mossbergen. Mr. Rudy Mossbergen took over Mr. Jensen as the second principal of Swiss Cottage in 1969. Mr. Mossbergen was remembered as a man with a big and tall frame, exuding strength and confidence with a wealth of experience, having been the principal of 2 secondary schools before taking over Swiss Cottage. He was a distinguished sportsman with aptitudes in hockey. The Swiss spirit was further refined in 1969 by Mr. Mossbergen to include the spirit of dedication and devotion to duty, the spirit of service and sacrifice, cooperation and pursuit of excellence. New prefects were selected in 1969, which brought new blood into the prefectorial board back then. The prefect inauguration on the 27th of January 1969 was started by Mr. Mossbergen, and it became a Swiss tradition, marking the commencement of constant renewal of student leadership. Swiss Happenings was organized in 1970 with the aim of promoting literacy tradition. It was an informal gathering in the evenings where talented and artistic teachers, pre-university students, and invited guests presented and shared their songs and poems. The Malay Youth Literacy Association had organized an inter-school debate for Malay students, but in English language in 1971. Swiss had formed a debate team and emerged champion in the competition. Mr. Mossbergen also promoted literacy through reading. In 1972, the Swiss Library was selected as the model school library by the then Library Association of Singapore. Mr. Mossbergen had selected a team of teachers to spearhead the Extracurricular Activities, or ECA, initiative in Swiss. This puts Swiss on another milestone. He encouraged ruggedness through ECAs such as badminton, hockey, and sepak takraw. These ECAs were district champions of Swiss back then. Aside from sports, Mr. Mossbergen placed strong emphasis on building students' confidence and aspiration through performing arts. He had encouraged these through organizing interclass drama competitions in 1974 and 1975. Despite relinquishing the stewardship of Swiss Cottage in 1975, Mr. Mossbergen continued to contribute to the school. In 1992, he composed the new school song known as Blaze a Path of Glory, which is still sung every Monday during morning assembly. In honor to Mr. Mossbergen's distinguished contribution to the Swiss spirit and dedication to holistic development in both academics and character, the Swiss alumni has sponsored the Rudy Mossbergen Awards that have been given out since 2006 for the Best in CCA and Best All-Round Pupil. Both Mr. Jensen and Mr. Mossbergen had dedicated themselves in creating a Swiss identity to bind generations of Swiss together. The legacy that they left behind was something that impacted many Swiss students, and their efforts in creating an identity for the school will always be remembered and appreciated.
Mr. Chow is the third principal of Swiss who took over the role as the principal from Mr. Rudy Mossbergen in 1976. Mr. Chow, a man characterized by a radiant smile, is a graduate from the University of Malaya with an honours degree in geography. Before taking over the stewardship of the school, he was already a principal in Macpherson Secondary School and National Junior College. Mr. Chow had led Swiss students through a journey of values-based education. One method was instilling a sense of civic-mindedness in students through introducing the Swiss Interact Club in 1976. Not only emphasizing on students' welfare, Mr. Chow had also accentuated on staff welfare to ensure the well-being of the teachers. To raise awareness on Asian heritage and art forms, an annual arts festival for the Performing Arts ECA began in 1976. A fraction of the program was the Swiss Drama Night, which was staged in Fort Canning Park. Swiss groomed and sent another debate team to participate in a nationwide debate competition and made it into the semi-finals, overcoming strong competitions from schools such as Raffles Institution and BT Secondary School. In 1980, the Swiss Art Centre, which showcased students' artistic paintings and handmade crafts, was opened by Mr. Wong Kian Peng, then chairman of the Singapore Youth Festival for Arts. Sports continued to be at a strong front for Swiss, and with this, the Swiss Squash Court was opened in 1983. Simultaneously, Swiss Adventure Campsite was also constructed for the energetics in the old campus of Bras Basah. Mr. Chow served as a principal for 14 years, making him the longest-termed principal in Swiss history. His effort in habituating character education in curriculum was manifested by many, which brought Swiss to a wholly new chapter in our history. Mr. Natar Rajan was our fourth principal, who led Swiss into greater heights in 1989 to 1997. Mr. Natar Rajan attained his honours in mathematics in the National University of Singapore and his master's in Stanford University in California, United States. He firmly believes in excellence in both studies and ECAs. With this, he continued and value-added Mr. Chow's spirit by preserving and building its legacy. Mr. Natar Rajan redefined the Swiss spirit in 1989 as the commitment by both teachers and students to achieve excellence in studies, sports, and ECAs. One of the highlights during Mr. Natar Rajan's term was the Swiss Band. In 1991, the Swiss Symphony Band had scored a double distinction in the Singapore Youth Festival. 2 years later, in 1993, they brought glory to the school by attaining a much-coveted silver medallion in the Singapore Concert Band competition. Swiss was also featured in the Straits Times for attaining top position in an international band festival. Mr. Natar Rajan imbibed loyalty to the school and nation by showing care and concern for the less fortunate. This was done through fundraising projects for beneficiaries like Salvation Army, National Kidney Foundation, and Kwong Wai Shui Hospital. Ms. Samchi Wah, then Vice Principal of Swiss Cottage, had worked with Mr. Natar Rajan to include pastoral care for the upper secondary students to be effective in community service. Together with the Physical Education Department, annual leadership camps were organized for student leaders of various ECAs. This tradition was then reignited in 2010 after it ceased in the 2000s. Mr. Natar Rajan oversaw the importance of leaving a legacy for the future generations, and as such, Swiss Times and Swiss Alumni was published and formed respectively in 1991. On 29th May 1992, Swiss held a simple and solemn moving out ceremony at Dunham Road. Swiss students sang Twin Streams for the last time. The next day, 30th May 1992, the Swiss band played Blaze a Path of Glory, the new school anthem written by Mr. Mossbergen. The relocation was perceived as a major dislocation from a central area to a remote corner of the island. But Swiss soon emerged as one of the leading schools in the West under Mr. Natar Rajan's leadership. Efforts put in place by Mr. Chow in emphasizing on character and aesthetics education and Mr. Natar Rajan in fostering Swiss identity and spirit are of paramount significance, which allowed Swiss to emerge as one of the top schools around the West even after decades.
Mr. Gan Chi-hao is the successor of Mr. Natar Rajan, who took over the role as 5th Principal of Swiss Cottage in 1998. Together with the staff, Mr. Gan was determined to make the school a vibrant learning community whereby the well-being of every student is taken care of. To materialize this, he placed emphasis on the all-round development of Swiss students, and thus, a varied program was introduced during his time. Swiss Enrichment Program commenced whereby the lower secondary students were exposed to both arts and languages, and sports and outdoor education. Some of these courses include Japanese cultural lessons, as well as sports like bowling. Interdisciplinary project work started in 2000 whereby the Sec 2 and 3 students were given a chance to come together to do a project work and public speaking program. This improves not only the literacy skills of individual students, but also a vehicle to bring different people together to form the unity among Swiss students. In the field of sports, the Swiss PE department had introduced a house program. Students were segregated into 5 different houses consisting of blue, brown, green, red, and yellow. The different houses would come together to compete for the Swiss House Championship, an annual track and field event, inter-house games, and the cross-country run. In the year 2000, the school obtained the Value Added Award for Secondary 5 and A level. The various performing arts did the school proud in the Singapore Youth Festival Competition 2001 by winning many of the much coveted awards. With the achievements of the uniformed groups, the school had obtained the much prestigious Sustained Achievement Award for uniformed groups in 2002. This award was given by the ministry in recognition of the sustained excellence in Swiss UG. Swiss had received the SAA UG Award for the 11th consecutive years as of 2012. The staff had also garnered achievements under Mr. Gan's leadership. In 1999, Mr. Eric Koh, Head of Department of Discipline, was conferred the title of Serving Brother St. John's by Queen of England for his continuous contributions to the St. John Ambulance Brigade. One of the Swiss staff, Li Ling Yan, embarked on Antarctica 2000 expedition in the year 2000, whereby she climbed Mount Vinson in the South Pole. Together with her teammates, they made history by reaching the peak on the dawn of the 1st of January 2000. Mr. Gan had emphasized on all-round development of Swiss students during his time, and also promoted crucial values of working creatively and leading compassionately. Ms. Tay Lai Ling is the 6th Principal of Swiss Cottage Secondary School. She took over the helm from Mr. Gan in January 2003. To maximize their potential in creating a vibrant learning community, Ms. Tay had worked closely with various departments to initiate programs to allow Swiss students to excel academically and non-academically. The school had celebrated the 40th anniversary in Ritz-Carlton Hotel in 2003, when Ms. Tay just took over as a principal. Different alumni groups had got together in this joyous occasion. Ms. Tay had started the Shanghai study trip in 2004 with Shanghai High School and #1 affiliated high school of East China Normal University. This led to a varied exchange of ideas and cultures between Swiss and their counterparts in China. From then, students were selected to take part in the twinning program to garner experience on how the Chinese learning environment is like through the visits. The National Science Challenge was launched in 2004 and it was organized by A-Star in the Science Centre of Singapore. Swiss had selected students to participate in this nationwide program, whereby they present their scientific knowledge to the panel of judges and also to the audience and viewers of the challenge. Swiss had won during that year's competition. Under Ms. Tay's leadership, Swiss had built a strong foundation in the science and technology Swiss students when they were selected to represent Singapore at the World Robot Olympiad in Taipei in 2007, providing opportunities for the science and technology students to broaden their exposure about their attitudes in robot constructions. Swiss students had received the Boys Brigade President's Award for the Primer program since 2005. This is the most prestigious award in the entire Boys Brigade program. Ms. Subjit Kwa, Swiss English and Literature teacher, was awarded the Outstanding Youth Educators Award in 2007. She was also the first recipient of the Pinnacle Award in Swiss history. Deborah Chua, class of 2006, was offered a place at the prestigious Academy of Performing Arts in Hong Kong, despite struggling through the times in Swiss before entering Republic Poly. Beatsma Diana, class of 2007, did the school proud by clinching national top 5N students in O-level. Chua Kun Ting graduated from Swiss as a normal academic student and a diploma in biomedical science holder, was the first polytechnic student to enter the National University of Singapore Dentistry School. Terry Tan, an ex-student of Swiss, was a member of the Singapore national team in 10-pin bowling and represented Singapore in the Asian Games. She had won a silver in the 2011 World Women Championships. Mr. Gan and Ms. Tay's effort in creating a community of excellence and vibrancy had brought Swiss to another milestone. Their efforts was indeed materialized and shaped Swiss students into one that focused on studies, characters, skills simultaneously.
Mr. Liu Enle was the 7th principal of Swiss and had embarked on a journey of thoughtful leadership. Mr. Liu was the vice principal of Swiss Cottage in 2007 before officially taking over in January 2008. He had adopted the phrase from an African proverb: "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together," which had impacted many students. He charted a new blueprint for a student-centric, values-based, holistic education with a strong focus on student leadership and values in action. Mr. Liu had introduced the branding Swiss 2013, a great school, in conjunction with the 50th anniversary of Swiss Cottage in 2013. He aims to develop leaders with the emphasis in character, competence, and collaboration by providing opportunities for the student leaders. Thereafter, he redefined the school vision to thoughtful leadership in 2011. In line with the Teach Less, Learn More idea by the Ministry of Education, overseas trip and student immersion were organized annually by different departments such as Shanghai Training Program, as well as Overseas Horizon programs. In 2009, Swiss teachers defined the meaning behind total defense by wearing their distinctive uniforms and conducted sharing sessions to allow students to better appreciate Total Defense Day. To To open up more opportunities for more leaders and dynamism in Values in Action program, also known as VIA, the first student-initiated overseas VIA project started in 2010 to Vietnam. The school saw the success of the first overseas VIA project in that the continuation of another OVIA project to Yunnan in 2011. In addition, Swiss has adopted Block 109 along Bukit Batok Street 11 in 2011. Hamper giving sessions and Residence Day were organized to provide opportunities for Swiss students to interact with these residents. To open up more opportunities for students to inculcate their leadership abilities, Secondary 3 students took over their respective CCAs as captains or presidents, while a portion of the Secondary 1 students was selected to be part of the Student Council, which was previously known as the Prefectorial Board. To instill a sense of pride in Swiss students, a static series began in 2012 whereby the various performing arts and art department had organized 4 major events, mainly the Chinese Orchestra Night, Euphoria Dance Concert, Journey Art Exhibition, and Swiss Serenade by Swiss Winds. Swiss Winds was also the first school band to team up with the police and the Singapore Armed Forces Band in National Day Parade 2010 and further performed in Hong Kong Disneyland in the same year. 7 floorballers had either received the Zonal or National Colours Award in the year 2009. 3 years later, Wilson Ang from Class 5N1 2012 had also received the Colours Award for basketball. Mr. Samuel Lim, a physical education and history teacher, won the Outstanding Youth in Education Award in 2010. Mr. Lim was the second teacher in Swiss to win the award, which was given to young teachers for their enthusiasm and active involvement in developing students. Within 3 years, Swiss has 2 winners of the prestigious Lee Kuan Yew All-Round Excellence Award, a pinnacle award that recognizes well-rounded students who have excelled academically and non-academically. Woon Yi-Jing, class of 2008, was the first recipient who had received the award in 2009. And 3 years later, in 2012, Tan Cheng Kiat, class of 2012, has also received the award. Richard Ong, a former Swiss student, was awarded with the Singapore Polytechnic Model Student Awards in 2013 for academic excellence and the CCA achievements, outstanding leadership, and exemplary conduct. Goh Xue Li also garnered the distinguished Ngee-Ann Polytechnic Diplomas with Merit Award, which was only awarded to the top 10% of the course population annually. Under the Infocom Club Executive Committee's initiative, SCSS Network was set up on the 22nd of March 2011, with the aim to provide another channel of communication between Swiss and the public through Facebook, a social networking site. In addition to the establishment of SCSS Network, SCSS Principal's Desk was also set up to provide another platform for Mr. Liu and Le to communicate with Swiss students and other stakeholders. In 2012, Swiss has commenced the 50th anniversary celebration, and to kickstart, Swiss Book 1 and Swiss Carnival 2012 was launched. These events were a big success and received compliments by different groups of people. Swiss has undergone a change in school leaders whereby Mr. Heng Yu-Seng had took over Swiss as a principal in January 2013, together with Mr. Atong Ngong and Mrs. Patrine Tang. Mr. Heng, a master's holder with aptitudes in art, was previously a deputy director of instructional program in Singapore Sports School before taking over the stewardship of Swiss earlier this year. Under Mr. Heng's leadership, the school will focus on strengthening the culture of care, learning, and excellence in Swiss for curriculum year 2013.